Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Pete's CD and Vinyl World. Today I want to do a response to Chris Propfe's vinyl tag video about live albums. I had previously done a live albums video way back a couple months ago with my favorite live albums of all time, so I'll post that link in my video below, but I just wanted to show some of mine to Chris and everybody else. And I love live albums personally. I think they sound great on vinyl. And these are definitely not all of them I have, but let's get started. So, first one, Robin Trower Live. Actually, the only album I have from him. So I'd like to get some more of his albums. Next up, one of my favorite live albums, but not one that many people know or talk about. Pete Townshend's Deep End Live. This was on... Well, actually, it wasn't a tour. He never really toured in the 80s. It was a one-time concert he did for White City. I believe it was a benefit concert. I believe at one point they put out the entire concert on CD, but it's just a single album release. But there's some great songs on here. And he also does a version of Save It for Later, that UK hit song. Wings Over America, of course. Everybody's got that one, right? Yes, 90125 Live, the solos. This is sort of an EP of 6 songs, I believe. Mostly almost like instrumentals from Chris Squire and Trevor Rabin. But it also has Hold On and Changes Live, so always like this one. Y&T, Open Fire. Single live album, but has a lot of their hits. Also has the studio version of Summertime Girls. That was actually on one of their other albums also, but I think they just stuck it on here because they had a video for that at the time. That was sort of like their only hit. Band called All. I know Chris is a fan of these guys just like I am. And the Descendants. This is called Trailblazer, single album. It's got a lot of their good songs on it. One of the best titles ever for a live album. On Your Feet or On Your Knees from Blue Oyster Cult. Creepy ass cover too. I wonder if that's I always wonder if it was like part of some secret society or something. Of course, Cheap Trick at Budokan. Can't talk about live albums unless you mention this one, right? Deep Purple, last concert in Japan. This was with Tommy Bolin on guitar. This was the Come Taste the Band tour. I believe before this concert, he had a problem where he was all drugged out and he fell asleep on his arm and had an issue playing almost anything. So it's interesting because a lot of the guitar solos on here are actually played by John Lord on organ. So it's kind of interesting, but it's pretty terrible performance overall. Jay Giles Band, Full House Live. I believe this is their second live album, if I'm not mistaken. This came out... Oh, well, it's got to be their first one. This came out in 72. But this is more when they're more of like a blues, R&B type band. But sounds great. HSAS. Sammy Hagar, Neil Sean, Kenny Aronson, Michael Shreve. This is actually a live album, but it's all new songs. And they actually took out the audience. The audience only appears during the last song. So it's kind of interesting. Jimi Hendrix, Johnny B. Good. This is an EP of a collection of live songs. Has, I guess, some alternate live versions of well-known songs. Most notably a version of Machine Gun from the Berkeley concert. Usually the Machine Gun that everyone knows is from Band of Gypsies, but this is an alternate one. And it's got Voodoo Child from Atlanta Pop Festival, live version of Johnny B. Good, All Along the Watchtower from Atlanta Pop Festival. all of those concerts now have been completely released, but this came out in the 80s, I believe. So it was kind of unique at the time. My favorite live album of all time, probably. Definitely the best live album of the 80s, hands down. Iron Maiden Live After Death. Jethro Tull, Bursting Out. If you're a fan of the real heavy Jethro Tull, this album is really great. Another one of my favorites right here. The Kinks, One for the Road. In the middle of the Kinks sort of arena rock phase. Great live album. Of course, you got to throw Kiss Alive too, or Kiss Alive. Here's Alive right here. I don't have that one on vinyl. It's a big debate with Kiss fans, which one's better. It's hard for me to pick. So you could always say that it's the same album because Kiss released this set called Kiss Alive 1975 to 2000. This has Alive 1, 2, and 3, and what was supposed to be Alive 4, the concert on New Year's Eve 1999 in Alaska. So that's kind of cool. So I'll show some other ones on CD now. UFO, Strangers in the Night. The Who, Live at Leeds. I particularly like this one. It came out in the 90s because it has all the rest of the songs. The original album, I believe, only had 5 or 6 songs, so this has a bunch of other songs that were at the concert. Heaven and Hell, I Can't Explain, Fortune Teller. This album sounds unbelievable, even on CD. So, highly recommend that. And last but not least, a couple of Frank Zappa ones. He did a lot of these. You can't do that on stage anymore. CDs in the late 80s, early 90s. I believe there's 6 volumes. Most of them are like this one, where it's just various songs from various concerts throughout the years. It'll have a song from 1969 going into a song from 1984 live. This was the only one that was a full concert, the famous Helsinki concert. I believe this is the 74 band, the one with George Duke. So it's basically the same band that was Roxy and Elsewhere. So a lot of those songs are on here as well, but they're done all different as well. I actually prefer, a lot of people love this, but I still prefer Roxy and Elsewhere over this, the versions of the songs. So anyway, that's my response to the video. Hope you guys have a good day. I should be up with another video tomorrow, and if you like these videos, please subscribe. Thanks a lot.